Hi guys, CNC Swede here. I wanted a good Dutch shoe with easy access to the spindle and a shoe that really floating on the surface to get optimal dust extraction. I did that this way. I'm starting with setting up the job. The width of my material is 220 mm and the height is 130 mm and the thickness is 10 mm. I do the shoe in acrylic. Then I draw a rectangle that is 183 by 83 mm in corners that is rounded with a 50 mm radius. Using the guidelines that I have set up before, I draw two circles, one 50 mm for the vacuum hose and another that is 49.5 mm to fit my spindle. Then I draw a big 250 mm circle to use for shaping up my shoe. Then I mirror the circle vertical about the job center. I trim the vectors. I drew two 10.2 mm circles for the pockets to the magnets. And two 5.3 mm circles for the pins. Then I just mirror these horizontal and vertical over the job center. I save a copy of the vectors to the middle layer to use it later. I draw a rectangle 6 by 11.8 mm for the clamping nut. And a rectangle for the groove. And to shape the clamping mechanism, I use another rectangle. Rotate it and use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move it in place. And I use a polyline to shape the other side. I right click and make it to a bezier and use the arrow keys to move the vector points and the handles to shape it further. Then some trimming again. I shift to the middle layer and resize the circles for the pins to 5 mm. I drew two 56 mm circles for the holes and two 71.5 mm for the pockets. Offsets the profile outwards 3 mm. Copy and paste the circles for the magnets and pin and move them for shaping the pocket. And some more trimming. Copy and paste circles to the brush layer. I draw a rectangle 195 by 103 mm with corners with 15 mm radius. Then a rectangle with sharp corners, 180 by 90 mm. And offsetting that 4.85 mm inwards. I think that the groove for the brush come too near the pocket. So I changed the radius to 10 mm instead, and the rectangle width to 183 mm, and offsets that 4.85 mm inwards. That looks better. Then to the toolpaths. Oops, I did miss some trimming. I'm starting with the profile for the clamp. In the toolpaths I use 3 and 6 mm single flute end mills and a 90-degree V-bit. I write down the feeds and speeds in the comments for you. I name the paths and includes a hint what end mills I use for knowledge in the future. In this toolpath for acrylic, I use a 3mm Single Flute end mill with spindle speed 18,000 RPMs and a feed rate of 1,800 mm per minute, a pass step of 1.5 mm and step over 1.2 mm. I use the same tool to the holes and pockets. Okay, that looks like a clamp. We go on to the middle part. Here I use a 90-degree V-bit at 18,000 RPMs and a pass depth 1.5 mm and a feed rate of 1,800 mm per minute to chamfer the top of the pins. For the area clearance, I mark the offsets of the profile and holes and use a 6mm Single Flute end mill at 18,000 RPMs and a pass depth of 1.5 mm, step over 2.4 mm and a feed rate of 1800 mm per minute. For the pocket holes, I use the same 6mm end mill. Here you can see the benefit of those offsets. They make the 6mm end mill to fit in the toolpath. For the pockets for the magnets, I go back to the 3mm end mill. And that was the middle part. In the brush layer, I use the same tools. And now let's do some machining. Setting up the X, Y and Z axis. First I'm milling the clamp part. Area clearance of the middle part. The pockets for the magnets. Profiling the holes. After the chamfering is done of the big holes, cutting out the profile. Now the brush part, the pocket around the holes. Profiling the holes. Tool change. Chamfering around the holes. Tool change again. The groove for the brush. And at last the profile. And now to the fun part, building the puzzle. Here I'm placing out the magnets. putting some glue in the pockets. The brush I took from a door ceiling. I glued the grooves and pressed down the brush. The heart in my design is this steering gear boot. I cut 2 suitable pieces of it. Then I glue them to the parts and spray activator on it. Then I proceed to glue on the brushes. Mount a screw and nut. Then I glue the middle part. I'm very pleased with the construction of this dust boot. It works very well.